There are a specific set of habits that make certain women more elite, more high value, and that puts them in the top 1%. If you're not already doing some of these but would like to be, then this is your starting point to becoming part of the top 1% of women. And that's what this channel is about. I'm here to guide you in becoming the best version of yourself, one route at a time. So let's go ahead and dive in. You can call this first habit being disciplined. You can call it knowing your worth, or you can call it having self-control. The point is not giving into things just because you feel like it. Top 1% women master their impulses. Whether it's not overspending, avoiding reactive text messages, or even resisting unhealthy foods, they think long-term instead of giving into short-term gratification. What this all means is that as a top 1% woman, your current mood does not determine the actions that you take. Temptation does not lead you to lose sight of your vision, because despite something feeling good in the moment, feeling good now, it doesn't mean that it's what's best for you in the long run. It's like hitting snooze on your alarm in the morning. Are those extra minutes really worth feeling frustrated and feeling rushed later on when you're getting ready? Probably not. There was a study done on delayed gratification, and the purpose of this study is to show the importance of having self-control on waiting on delayed gratification. This is the famous Stanford marshmallow experiment. In this study, a group of kids were given a marshmallow to eat, but they were told to wait to eat it until instructed otherwise. The kids that actually waited to eat the marshmallow ended up having a much better life outcome decades later because they had stronger impulse control. Yes, they could have had that one marshmallow at that moment when they had it in front of them, but for those that waited, they were going to be rewarded with 2 marshmallows if they waited long enough. So again, it's about choosing long-term gratification over short-term gratification. And the best part about this practice is that neuroscience shows that your prefrontal cortex, the front part of your brain that is a decision maker, strengthens the more that you practice self-control, meaning that you'll be able to make decisions easier and faster the more you practice self-control. Which makes sense, because if you're able to just cancel out the option that is not good for you over the option that will benefit you later on, the easier it is for you to make a decision. And let me just give you real life examples of how this plays out in your life and how it affects you. Let's say that you're in the mood to drink again this weekend, although you told yourself that you wouldn't drink and that instead you would focus on that new project idea you've been having. In this moment, you need to have enough self-control to keep your promise and not drink and actually work on your business, on that idea. That ex that you just blocked a few days ago that also keeps calling you, so now you're missing them, now you're thinking about talking to them, too bad. You need to have enough self-control, enough self-respect to not give in to that. Because it might feel good to respond to them now, but then you'll feel regretful and fall back into the same old toxic cycle if you continue to talk to them. Having self-control is also knowing when and where you're going to pour your energy into. Let's say that someone says something that is triggering and you're about to lose your shit and you're about to start arguing and going back and forth with them. In that moment, you need to be able to get a hold of yourself, and you should know that they are not worth your energy. It's the same thing as if you told yourself that you're going to start budgeting your money better and that you're going to stop overspending. But let's say that you happen to be out with your friends, your kids, your partner, or whoever it is, and you all of a sudden decide to spend an extra $100 that you did not budget for. You need to have the discipline and the self-control in that moment to know that you shouldn't overspend. And this doesn't mean that you can't ever bend or break your own rules. I think that in certain situations, it's okay to accommodate, but not when these things negatively affect you, not when they control you, or when they make you regret it later on. The importance of having self-control is to not give into things that are not aligned with you. It's about keeping your promises to yourself and doing what you said you would do or would not do anymore. Self-control is simply self-respect. And as a top 1% woman, you know that. Number 2 is having a resilient mindset. And hear me out, because if you don't have resilience in life, you will never grow in life. You will never succeed in life. Having a resilient mindset is your ability to bounce back after challenges. It's your ability to adapt to situations and changes in your your life. The harsh truth is that life can often feel like it's full of obstacles. Things don't always work out in our favor, whether it's in our personal life, our career life, or relationships, and even our emotional and mental well-being. Somehow that is out of our control ends up not working out. And that's just life. But it's how you're able to manage yourself through these times that separate you from the 99% of other women. Things like how soon you're able to recover from a setback, your awareness in that moment, and having healthy coping mechanisms is what will set you apart and put you in the 1%. Let's say that you've been marketing your business on social media, but nothing seems to be working and you're getting no clients. Will you be the type of person to completely get discouraged and give up entirely, or will you be the type of person who analyzes, who takes back feedback, and that will go on and educate themselves on how to properly market their business? And how soon are you willing to apply this and try again? Will you try this again this same week, or are you going to wait 2 years after wasting all that time to try again? You know what's really interesting? I consider myself one of the most resilient people that I know. It really does take a lot for me to give up. I don't easily give up on people or the things that I believe in. And even when really unfortunate, unforeseen things happen to me, I still maintain some sort of resilient and optimistic mindset through it all. Just 2 weeks ago, I lost my car keys and I lost my laptop. Now, keep in mind that I do 90% of my work on my computer. So of course, that when this happened, I was ready to lose my shit. Just as anyone would in that moment, right? But I didn't. I remained as calm as I could, and I reminded myself that there was nothing I could do about the items that I lost. This was completely out of my control, and yes, I could scream, I could beat myself up, I could shout, but was that going to bring back my keys and my laptop? No. And don't get me wrong, I did allow myself to feel the frustration that I was feeling, because being resilient is not about avoiding your problems either. I shed a little tear, but I immediately showed myself compassion and told myself that it's okay. I told myself that we'll get a new computer, we'll put it on the credit card and pay it off as we go. And that is what set me apart. What I did here is that I adapted to the situation and I managed my emotions in a healthy way. I could have taken this entire unfortunate situation and thought to myself, you know what, this is just a sign that I'm not meant to be a business owner. I could have taken this as proof that nothing ever works out for me. I could have made up all types of negative things, and they almost crossed my head. They did. But instead I decided to take control of the situation in a way that I could. And you want to know what happened after I let that go and was able to bounce back quickly from that? I kid you not, the place where I lost it at called me back and told me that they found my laptop. I didn't find my keys, but someone ended up paying for the key replacement, so either way, it all worked out. And in the meantime, I didn't overwhelm myself with negative thoughts and emotions. I was resilient and moved through it. And this is a principle that you can apply to your finances, to your relationship when things don't work out in your favor or the way that you want them to. And you can even apply this to your business. If you're a business owner and you have some differences, you have some challenge come up, some obstacle that comes your way unexpectedly, you have to know how to adapt and move on from it, not stay stuck, not whine and cry about it for days. You have to be able to then come up with a solution and remain grounded. You need to have the type of mindset that says, okay, this sucked and it happened to me. Now, how can I move forward from this? What can I learn from this? And that is how you have a resilient mindset, which, believe me, you will need it in life, because so many times you will feel discouraged, you will feel unmotivated when unexpected things happen, and you have to know how to move forward from them. The third habit is having financial stability. Top 1% of women are not dependent on anyone for survival. They create stability and safety for themselves. They use their masculine energy to create structure in their finances. What this means is that top 1% of women use their strategic and leadership skills to budget, to invest, and create multiple income streams for themselves. And you don't have to be extremely wealthy to do this for yourself. You can do this whether you're making $5,000 or $100 a month. It's all about how you divide this $5K or $100 that you make every month. And what a lot of people do is that they use the 50-30-20 budgeting rule because it's extremely helpful and it might be for you as well. This budgeting rule consists of using 50% of your monthly income on your expenses like your rent, your phone bill, and so on, and 30% on your wants, on your desires, like when you go out on the weekend or eat out. And then 20% of your income, of your paycheck, goes into your savings account. And you would do this repeatedly every paycheck or every month or so on. This is just a safe and effective method that you can use if you don't already have a system in place. But I would say that the most important aspect is to just keep track of things, of your spendings. Don't just swipe your card every single time. Know where things are going. Know where you are investing your money. Have monthly bank audits. You may even surprise yourself because you may realize that you're spending money on things that you don't need or things that you didn't even know you're still paying for. That's surely happened to me with all of these subscriptions nowadays. I want you to understand this. When you have financial security, your brain can shift from survival mode to creative receiver mode. It is nearly impossible to grow your income and allow yourself to receive more from a state of lack. And when you're constantly worried about how you're going to make ends meet. Which brings me to my next point, and it's that top 1% women do not settle. They don't settle for the same paying low job or salary. If you've been in the same position, the same pay grade, or the same place for the past 2 to 3 years, you need to start thinking about how to improve, how to move up. You should always be thriving for the next position, the next threshold, the next income amount, or at least thrive to be in a position where you have financial freedom, where you're not in survival mode or living paycheck to paycheck because you don't want to feel like life is restrictive just because of the amount of money that you make, because of the lack of money. And you have to remember that money is energy. It is ever flowing, and there is enough for you as well. So get into healing your relationship with money. Get into expanding your rubber band or your ceiling of the amount of money that you think is possible for you to make, because that amount is infinite. High status women know something about money that not the typical person knows. They approach it differently. They see it differently. They've probably even done the work around money. Healing your relationship with money starts at the root. You need to go back to your upbringing and notice the type of things that you would hear and that you would see when growing up. Think about this. If you often heard your parents complain and stress about their bills and not having enough money, what do you think this taught you about money as a child? If you were always told there isn't enough money to buy the things that you wanted, or to even get the things that were necessary like food or clothing that you wanted, or even better yet, if your parents, your caretaker, was always working long hours, missing out on certain events, missing out on certain special moments because they were always working, that showed you as a child that in order to obtain money, you have to work hard and that you have to chase it. Which now that you're an adult, you don't feel like you're worthy of money. You feel like money is very hard to come by or to maintain. You may not know this consciously, but subconsciously, that is what you were taught as a child. And what I want you to realize is that there is no limit. The universe, God, does not have favorites on who gets to be rich and who doesn't. It's all about what you believe internally, subconsciously. That is how you get abundance to flow to you. This is also the reason why making, let's say, $50,000 a month seems nearly impossible to you. And this is why to someone else, maybe the person that you look up to, for them, it's easy. They make it in their sleep. They make it every single month because they know, they feel that they are worthy of that. And so do all 1% women. Knowledge is power. We've heard this before, and it's very much true. There is nothing that will make you more attractive than being educated in something. Being open-minded to new perspectives and becoming more skilled at something will literally be your superpower. As a top 1% woman, you know that there's always something to learn, even in what you think you're already an expert in. Top 1% women are always teachable and coachable, no matter how much experience they may have. As someone who stands out from the rest of the world, you invest your time in educating yourself in both what will serve you and what you're passionate about. Instead of spending your time hours a day scrolling your life away, you spend time listening to podcasts. You spend time watching educational videos, joining a program, getting a mentor, or reading a self-development book, but all at the same time also indulging in fun, playful things like a romance book or a sci-fi book or whatever. Because you can also learn really great life lessons through those type of books. The thing is, and the reality of it all, is that our world is very much advancing. And in this AI technological world that we are starting to live in, you have to be mindful of what you are consuming, including the music that you listen to. And all at the same time, take advantage of the resources that we now have. Because AI, yes, can be a little scary. At the same time, it's very useful and makes learning so much easier. So use that to your advantage. If you're into finance or content creation, go and learn everything there is to learn about it. That's what sets successful women apart, and that's what makes them intelligent. Instead of just having an idea and keeping themselves limited, they go and expand in that field. Once you start productively investing your time and using your wisdom, it's game over. Because that's the other thing. Knowledge is also about the lessons that you've learned. And a top 1% woman applies those lessons that she has learned. If in the past you ignore the red flags and trusted the person you shouldn't have trusted in, okay, make sure that doesn't happen again in the future. If you almost crashed into someone because you were looking down on your phone, next time you're not going to be looking down on your phone, right? If you invested in some scheming company and you gave away all your money, the next time you're gonna know what to watch out for, not to fall for a scam trick, right? And this is how knowledge becomes power. So use it. You're a smart girl. Número 5 is that they know the importance of having an intentional environment around them. They know the importance of social networking and also the environment that they're in. Surrounding yourself with people who inspire you, who challenge you, is one of the most influential ways to growing, to being in the top 1%. It's like that saying, you are what you eat, because you are your environment. The people that you surround yourself with play such a huge role in who you are and the habits that you have. I don't think you understand this. Just think about this. If you're constantly hanging around people who complain, who are talking negatively about their life all day, you're going to start noticing more of the things that are not going well in your life a lot more easier, because that's what you're used to. That's what you're always around. If the people you surround yourself with are always partying, they're always hooking up, they're always out smoking, then you're more than likely going to be doing the same things that they are doing because you're there as well. And as you may already know, there is nothing inspirational or motivational about someone who lives their lifestyle that way, or about someone who lays in bed being unproductive all day. Now, let's say that you're surrounding yourself with people who are disciplined, who have a sharp mind, who are organized, and that likes to work out the majority of the time. This can also start to rub off on you. This will start to inspire you. The key here is that instead of getting intimidated because this person has a better and healthier lifestyle than you do, you take this as inspiration to become better. You join them at their next gym session. You ask them questions to do those things too. Wealthy and successful people hang around other wealthy and successful people. As a matter of fact, more often than not, they're actually hanging out with people who are above them, people who are making even more money than them, people who are even more experienced than them, and they learn from them. Another way to look at this is as if you were in a relationship with a toxic person when you're not toxic. They're going to eventually get you wrapped up in their toxicness, in their drama, in whatever lifestyle is that they have, because you're being around them. They're going to play a part and influence you in how you behave and how you carry yourself after. So, to become a top 1% woman who wants an intentional environment around her, don't be afraid to network with people outside of your range. Don't be afraid to get out of your comfort zone and spark up conversations with people. Don't be afraid to connect with people you wouldn't have thought that you could have a conversation with, or that you would have something in common with. Those people that just seem so different. See what you can learn from them and what they can introduce you to. Networking doesn't just have to be professional. It can also be personal. And if you can do both, even better. So go ahead and see what events, what places you can go to in your area that are going to put you in a different environment, that is going to put you in a room of people that can teach you something. And most importantly, don't be scared to ask them questions about what they do and how they got there. This will open massive, powerful doors for you, doors you haven't even thought of. Número 6, it's going to be future focused. It's being goal orientated, but not just in the way that you think. Yes, you want to always be planning towards your future, but while also being fully present. Women who are in the top 1% are not just living life in limbo. They're not just waking up and then deciding what they're going to do with their day. They're not just hoping and just wishing and just winging things by. They have a sense of direction in their life, in their day. They have a routine, they have discipline, they have schedules. And most of them have a monthly or quarterly goal that they need to reach to make sure that they're staying on top, both personally and for their business. They track their progress and they stay on top of them. Now, this is not to be confused with being fixated on your future and your goals and doing them in a super strict way. There should also always be room for the unknown, for unexpected things to happen. And most importantly, there always needs to be room for your intuition to flow and to guide you. Now that is a real top 1% woman, one that can allow her intuition to guide her as she's also creating structure for herself. Because the thing is that we can plan and plan for our future, and sometimes they work out differently than we thought, and they work out just as they needed to for our highest good. The point in being future focused and goal orientated is to have a clear vision, is to have something to remind you of the direction in which you desire to go in every single day. And anyways, what I really want you to take away from all of this is that having structure is also just so important in planning for your future, because if you don't have structure, then your life will be all over the place. There needs to be systems in place that will help you to get from point A to B. And think of it sort of like a vehicle. When you know what you want and how you're gonna get there, you're gonna get there a lot easier and a lot faster. You should have clear intention of where it is that you're going, or at least follow what brings you joy. Follow that intuition and what you want for yourself. This way you're not tolerating less than or spending too much time at the wrong destination. The other thing is that those in the top 1% are always thinking of what actionable steps they need to take to achieve their goals. They reflect and strategize for their future. And this can look differently for everyone. Some person may visualize every single day because that's what works for them. Someone may wake up at 7 a.m. every single day because it allows for extra time. Someone may strictly go by their Google Calendar every day to stay on top of the things that they need to get done. Another may cut off all distractions for 30 days straight so that they can really lock in. Or someone else may just need to start eating healthier. It all depends, and we all have unique goals and a unique approach that works well for that person in reaching their goals. You do whatever is best for you, whatever will get you from point A to B. As long as you're making progress and moving the needle, that's all that really matters. Out of all of the habits that I have talked about, this one specifically is undeniably the most important. This is the foundation of everything else that I just mentioned, and that is having self-love. When you truly care for yourself, and not just at the surface level, you will respect and trust in yourself enough to consistently show up for yourself, to not break your own boundaries, to give yourself nothing but the best of the best. And you will also do whatever it is that is necessary to get there simply because you know that you are worthy of it. Meaning that you'll put yourself out of your comfort zone, meaning that you'll create stability for yourself and have your own back. Top 1% women are their biggest supporter. Even if they have other people rooting for them, they do not question their worth or how capable they are. And if they do have doubts, they love themselves enough to push through those doubts. What some people still fail to realize is that true self-care is not just about your appearance. It's not just about how good you look or how good you smell. And although those things are also important, because I'm not saying that they're not, real self-love is about how you manage yourself internally. It's having emotional intelligence and prioritizing your mental health. High-value women are very understanding and compassionate with themselves. They think very highly of themselves. And one of my favorite things is that as a woman who is different from the rest is that you embrace your shadow self. You know, the parts of you that you don't like and that you tend to hide. You accept that that is also part of who you are. And what other way to show yourself that you truly, unconditionally love yourself than accepting yourself? You know, and I think it's fair to ask, well, how do you even start loving yourself? And I'll tell you how. As someone that has gone through that journey over and over, because you're always learning new ways to love yourself. But one that really made a difference, and that I think that whether they are aware of not, top 1% women are doing this, is living through their feminine energy. It's living in coherence through their masculinity and their femininity. Here's what you may not really understand, is that feminine energy is literally the blueprint to becoming your most embodied, empowered, and most authentic version of yourself. Honestly, it teaches you everything that there is to know about yourself. It teaches you how to live and how to behave, why certain things aren't aligned with you, why you lack certain things, why you are a certain way. I mean, once you truly understand the concept of feminine and masculine energy and how they play a part in your life, I think you're going to feel like you cracked some sort of secret code to yourself and to your life. And I don't mean to exaggerate. At least this is how it felt to me. It helped me understand myself on a much deeper level, on a level I had never understood myself before. So before trying to conquer the world and conquer your dreams, prioritize healing and unconditionally loving yourself. And really just take yourself seriously, as you do with your dreams, as you do with people that you care about. Invest the time and energy and pour into yourself. By the way, I do have an entire series on my channel on feminine energy if it's something that you're curious to learn more about. I'm going to tag the videos down below. And I also do have an in-depth, very thorough workbook that I created to help you activate, heal, and embody your feminine energy. It shows you exactly how you're stuck and how you may be misusing it, which I'm gonna tag down below for you as well. All right, my loves, that is everything for this video. Let me know down below which one of these habits were new to you, or which ones maybe were unexpected, which ones maybe these are things that you were already doing and you didn't even realize it. Okay, until the next time, see ya!